You felt it. That moment after the party, the dinner, the family gathering, you're finally home. Engine off, keys in hand, and you don't move. You just sit there. 10 minutes in the driveway, staring at nothing, not ready to walk through your own front door. And here's what nobody tells you. It wasn't the party that drained you.
It was something quieter, something happening beneath the surface the entire time you were smiling, nodding, being present for everyone else. You've probably called this social exhaustion and left it at that, assumed it meant you were antisocial or broken, or simply not built for people the way others seem to be. But what if that pause in the driveway isn't a flaw at all?
What if it's your brain doing something remarkably specific, something with a name, a mechanism, a reason? By the end of this, you'll understand exactly what's happening in that silence and why it was never something wrong with you.
Here's what's really going on, and it has nothing to do with liking or disliking the people around you. Every time you walk into a room full of voices, your mind starts running a process most people never notice, because most people don't have to. You're reading tone before words even land. You're tracking who just went quiet, who's bored, who might be offended by a joke you haven't finished forming yet.
You're managing your face so it says the right thing while your mind stays 3 steps ahead, filtering sentences before they ever reach your mouth. That's not small talk. That's labor. Constant, invisible, unpaid labor that never shows up on anyone's radar because it doesn't look like work from the outside.
It looks like you're just standing there, listening, smiling, but underneath, you're running calculations nonstop. And here's the myth that needs to die right now. The idea that if you were more confident, more charming, more fun, none of this would drain you. That's false. This was never about personality. It's about energy allocation. Some people spend less to stay present in a room. You spend more. That's not a flaw in your character. It's a fact about your wiring. Once you see it that way, the exhaustion stops feeling like proof that something's wrong with you and starts feeling like proof of a weight nobody else could see.
Once people notice this pattern in themselves, they usually land in one of 2 places, and both of them are wrong. The first type grits their teeth and says yes anyway. Every invitation, every gathering, every just one drink, they force themselves through it, telling themselves that pushing past the exhaustion is what strong, sociable people do.
But resentment builds quietly underneath. Eventually, socializing itself starts to feel like a debt they're always paying and never settling, until the people they used to enjoy start to feel like obligations instead. The second type swings the opposite direction. They start canceling everything. Group chats go unanswered, invitations get quietly declined, and solitude becomes a wall instead of a room to breathe in.
And in that silence, a darker story starts to form, that something is broken in them, that they're antisocial, difficult, maybe even unlovable. Neither path is honest, because both start from the same mistaken belief that needing recovery time is a character flaw instead of a biological reality. One group punishes themselves by overriding the need. The other punishes themselves by pathologizing it. Neither one asks the only question that actually matters. Not what's wrong with me, but what do I actually need?
Here's the shift that changes everything. Stop treating your energy like a flaw to hide and start treating it like a resource to budget. You don't apologize for your phone needing to charge. You just plug it in. Your social energy works the same way. It's not a moral failing. It's a battery. And every battery needs a rhythm of use and recovery to function well.
Once you accept that, the question stops being, why am I like this? And becomes something far more useful. What do I actually need right now? And how much do I have to give today? That single reframe takes the shame out of the equation entirely. But knowing this isn't enough on its own. You need a practice, something small and repeatable. Here it is. Name the need out loud instead of hiding it.
Not with a long explanation, not with 3 paragraphs of apology, just simply, I need an hour to reset, and then take it. That's the whole tool. Saying it plainly instead of silently disappearing or over-explaining your way through guilt changes 2 things at once. It changes how you relate to your own need, because speaking it plainly makes it feel like a fact instead of a confession.
And it changes how others relate to it, too, because people take their cues from you. If you treat your limit like a quiet, ordinary truth, they will too. If you treat it like something shameful, they'll sense that and start reading it as rejection. The words themselves aren't magic. What's magic is refusing to hide the need, because hidden needs get misread and named needs get respected.
Let's make this real. Picture a friends gathering. Good people, good food, nothing wrong with the night at all. But by hour 2, you feel that familiar pull toward the door, and the old pattern kicks in. Stay another hour out of guilt, or leave while quietly rehearsing an apology in your head. Here's what it looks like instead. You find your friend, you say, "This was great, I'm heading out to recharge," and you leave. No 10-minute explanation, no guilt tour of the room. Short, warm, true. That's it. Now picture the harder version. A partner or a parent who takes your need for space personally, who hears, "I need time alone," as "I don't want you." This is where naming the need matters most. You don't manage their reaction by over-explaining. You manage it by being honest and specific. This isn't about you. My mind needs quiet to reset, the same way my body needs sleep. I'll be better with you in an hour than I would be right now. That sentence does something over-apologizing never could. It draws a boundary and offers reassurance in the same breath. Not because you owe anyone a performance of guilt, but because clarity, spoken calmly, is what turns a wall into a door. But let's not pretend it's always that easy, because sometimes people push back. Not everyone accepts, "I need to recharge," gracefully. Some will say, "You always do this." Others will ask, "Why can't you just stay a little longer, just this once?" And in that moment, the old guilt starts creeping back in, whispering that maybe you really are the problem. Too sensitive, too distant, too much work to love. Here's the truth that reframes the whole exchange. Their reaction usually isn't about you at all. It's about their own relationship with being alone. Someone who's never had to protect their energy often can't imagine that need in someone else. So instead of understanding it, they interpret it as rejection. That's not a flaw in you to fix. That's a gap in their experience, and it's not yours to close by abandoning your own limits. So hold the line, calmly, without escalating and without shrinking. Something like, "I hear that this is hard for you, and I still need this time. It's not a punishment. It's how I stay someone worth being around." No defensiveness, no lecture, just a boundary spoken plainly, the same way you'd state a fact about the weather. You're not asking permission to have limits. You're simply naming one and letting the people who matter learn to trust it. Something shifts the day you stop apologizing for this. You stop needing every person in your life to fully understand your rhythm, because you understand it yourself, and that's the only permission that was ever actually required. There's a quiet kind of confidence that comes from knowing your own pattern, knowing that an hour alone isn't a retreat from the world. It's what lets you show up fully in it. You stop reading your need for space as evidence of some social failure and start reading it as self-awareness. The same self-awareness that lets some people know exactly how much sleep they need or exactly when their focus starts to fade. You're not broken. You just know your own instrument, and you've stopped fighting the sound it makes.
But here's the honest question worth sitting with next. How do you know when alone time is genuine recovery and when it's quietly becoming isolation? That's a real line, and it's easy to cross without noticing, which is exactly what we'll walk through in the next video. For now, tell me this. What's the first thing you do the moment you get home after socializing? Drop it in the comments. I read every one.